Pete Bruinsma live on site here with Erika, otherwise known as EMA, on site at Pitchfork 2011. And Erika, what a great show. I don't always get to talk to bands after the show, so I got to see it. It was really awesome.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you. I'll tell you, years of substitute teaching to a hostile audience, or, interactive, possibly hostile audience, you learn to be like, okay, I don't know what so that my substitute teacher comes out sometimes in these performances. But it was cool to play in front of that many people. It was really fun.
I'm guessing that substitute teaching is not probably all that's kept you busy. I mean, you're curating art exhibits, you're doing your band. I mean, like, what else do you do? Is that it?
I do a lot. Oh, yeah. I haven't had a chance to do as much. Okay, now I'm like, kind of a rock star or something. But, I like to, curate different sorts of art shows, experimental stuff, video things, even, spoken word nights, do, some sort of, I did a weird, exorcism performance in a Santeria basement in San Francisco, a while ago.
Can you tell me more about that just for a second?
Okay, well, I will. I've been thinking a lot of people, when they had described my music, would say haunted or haunting. And I realized this. It wasn't something that I was setting out to do, but I realized that was coming up a lot. And it kind of, at one point started to freak me out. I'm like, wait, what's going on here? Am I haunted? What is happening? And so I thought, oh, well, you know what? I need to do I want to do an exorcism. And there's some things in my life that I want to get rid of, and I want to do an exorcism. How do I do that? Right.
Does an exorcism usually mean that you're possessed by a spirit of evil spirit?
We're playing it loose. We're thinking just that everyone
just in case.
Ghosts. Everyone has ghosts from the past that possibly weigh on them and stick in their brains. And wouldn't it be wonderful if you could have a way to get rid of those? Yeah. So this was in a basement in San Francisco that apparently used to have Santeria practices happening in it, and asked to do a piece. And so I did something where I talked about that. I'm like, okay, well, how can I do this? If I'm serious about it, but I don't want to be schlocky or exploitative. I'm like, okay, there's not gonna be any chicken blood. There's not gonna be talking in tongues. What are we gonna do? So what I did is I passed out small pieces of paper to everyone in the audience and small pencils, and this helped my substitute teacher skills. I was like, okay, the paper is coming down the aisles, and I was able to do that, and I talked a little bit about my thoughts on exorcism. I said, okay, what we're going to do is everyone's going to write down a thing that they want to get rid of, a ghost that they would like to expel from their lives. We're going to write it down on a piece of paper. We're going to fold it into a paper airplane, and then, at the count of 3, we're going to let these things go. And so I had the whole audience, everyone had a piece of paper, everyone wrote something down, and I sang a little song, and then we all and let it go.
You write all your songs, you compose, and you also do production.
Oh, yeah, and videos.
Video. How much of this album here, Past Life Martyred Saints, is kind of DIY? How much help did you bring? Did you do it all at your house?
No. It's weird because some of the songs Marked and Butterfly Knife and some of the older songs were recorded in an apartment in LA when I was 22 and just learning how to use Pro Tools. So it's me teaching myself. And so I think it is DIY. And a lot of it got put together at this studio in West Oakland with Leif Shackelford, who's also playing violin in the crazy electronics that are in the band.
Leif, you said?
Leif, yeah, we're kind of a team. He did a lot of the California video, and so we're just into doing it all kind of in-house. So I don't know if you call that. I think it is still DIY. We want to do as much as we can, just in-house. Let's do production. Let's do video. He made this necklace, so let's just do it. Let's do all that we can, which is good for me because I like to have a wide. I have a lot of interests.
Okay. Your old band before this band.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk too much about that, but it was kind of like a folk, kind of a noise folk, kind of experimental thing, similar to what you got now. No folk. I mean, I've heard it described as folk, and folk to me is a lot of different types of music than what I'm hearing out of that band.
Well, I got a couple things to say. First of all, folk music, is not just a production style. Folk music is a production method. It's a state of mind. And so, like, if now people are producing things if most music is being produced on a computer, we have to redefine our idea of folk and say folk has electronic in it. Folk is what the people are making. So in that sense, it's a folk band. A lot of music is folk music. Yeah, and but that, I mean, someone described it as God Seed You Black Emperor, someone described it as Mountain Goats. That's the same record. One's instrumental, one's lyric based. It was a conduit of, I don't know, man. It was a crazy time. It was good. It was fun.
Okay. Do you start thinking about influences? Do you start thinking about musical styles and precedents, or do you just start from just make a song? I mean, do you think about stuff from the past, like folk, or like rock, or like what's happening now, indie rock, or metal, or do you like just write a damn song? What's your approach to that?
All the lyrics just come straight out the brain, like just completely.
You start with the lyrics?
Sometimes. I don't I'm not the sort of person that sits around on a guitar and like, oh, that chord, oh, that lyric. I don't do that. I write shit down and it comes straight out, and then I fuck around with production, and I'm like, and I do want to evoke things in the production phase, and I do a lot of writing that way. But I mean, thinking, don't think, like, use your instincts.
Well, I just noticed so many different styles, decades, a little bit of everything comes out in your music.
Well, the thing that's exciting is that I feel like people actually have such an intuitive understanding of music, even if they don't know that they do. But there's a language that production and technology has used, and that's happened, based on what goes into style, what doesn't, like 80s, gated drums, like super compressed things, 90s we had chorus, other sorts of distortion. And the thing is, like, people understand that intuitively, and it's a beautiful language to be able to employ. I mean, all you have to do to understand this language is, like, have listened to pop radio. And so I want to converse on that level with people, and I want to take all of it that I can, and I want to put it into a record and put it out in ideas and have people join in on that conversation.
Thanks so much, Erika, EMA. We're out of time.
Okay.
Live from Pitchfork, WYCE signing out. Thank you so much, and good luck to you.
Yeah.